My name is Caimano, also known as Ace. I play bass for the band Toad and the Stooligans. I've been playing bass since I was 13. Music's always been, in my life. My grandmother played the piano. We had a piano in the house, so she would always be playing some classical sheets, and she had a guitar, so I learned how to play a stringed instrument by plucking around on her classical guitar. And when I was older, I had a friend in middle school who wanted to start a band, and he was going to play guitar, so that left me with playing bass. And I thought that playing 4 strings was going to be easier than playing 6 strings. So,
was it?
Yeah. At the time, yeah, it was.
For sure.
Any influences that I took from, or for this album, probably came from all the other people that I've played with. Like, all the other musicians that I've ever been around, every time I see them, I'm a little bit more inspired to say, like, oh, I like how you wrote that groove, or okay, I see how you're feeling this backbeat. Like, connecting with the drums, that's also something that I like. Listening to drummers, if I listen to drummers, I get a good feel. It's like, okay, how can I lock in with that part of the music, and then everything else can kind of texturize around it. We always have a joke, sitting around with the boys drinking liquor, it's like, gotta get some of that Jesus juice in you. And, when we decided, like, that's going to be the name, like, if we're going to call the first one Very Handsome, then we have to kind of, like, stick with a little bit of the silliness, something that's kind of personal to us. So it's just kind of like that. Great process. I love working with Brian. We've worked with him before. He was our drum tech for the Morgana phase and Very Handsome. And he had his studio he was starting up, so he was really interested in working with other bands, and we already had a good rapport with him personally. So doing that was quite easy. It was a really relaxed environment. Brian's a hilarious dude, so he makes it really easy to kind of sit and be relaxed while you play your songs. He totally understands who we are as people and who we are as musicians and what the band is trying to do as a band. So it was pretty easy doing that. I got to play a number of different basses on this record, which was awesome because I got to mess around with some cool tones. Our friend Mike Landry let me borrow a beautiful 5-string Warwick Streamer bass. So I played that on a majority of the songs here, and that was a lot of fun, really challenging to kind of transpose and do things on a different setup bass than what I'm used to on my usual basses, so that was cool. A meaningful part of recording this album, which I thought was awesome, was incorporating the horns into all these songs, which we have not done yet. And that was something that I always love. I always love horn textures in music, and I've always wanted to incorporate that here in Toad and the Stooligans. And when we had the opportunity to, and we got to sit there and hear the songs with the horn parts in them, as I had heard them in my head or as anybody had presented them, it just transformed each song that they were involved in. For my favorite song on the record, I would have to say it's Walk to the Music. It's just big and fun, huge ending. You bring back Pastor Henny from the beginning of the album, and I think that song captures us the best. We had no idea that Daniel was going to be Pastor Henny at the end. I think it happened when we were recording Daniel's parts for Pastor Henny. We tried to put that in there. It's like, what else could we do? We got the mic set up, and I think Daniel said it would be really funny if I gave a sign-off and came back as Pastor Henny and kind of bookend the whole thing. Him to do that really put, the extra thing that I think it needed. Like the extra bit of silliness, the extra bit of us. Well, Toad and the Stooligans, when it comes to the future, is not going to stop. I know that COVID has put a lot of pressure on musicians and artists to, they can't, especially musicians who can't go out and play and, make their living, their money. Like, I don't think that Toad and the Stooligans are going to stop making music. We have a lot of other things in the tank to release, and, I just want everybody to look forward to it and just know we're not stopping. Toad and the Stooligans, Jesus Juice, it's out now. Go peep it on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you can find it. And, Juice!
Juice!
That was a good one.